Hello, my name is Rhonda Kitchens. I am your faculty librarian. I'm going to talk to you today about Google Next Level. And you'll see I really love this topic. I hope to bring this in under 30 minutes. Feel free to put me on double speed if you want to go right through it. No problem. While you're here on the library's page, I want to make sure you know that we have Ask a Librarian. It's here available to you 24/7, 364. If you miss talking to us, you'll be talking to some wonderful person from Australia or Great Britain, and I hope you enjoy the experience. If not, I'll follow up in the morning to see how things went and try to help you out when I am here at work, and my colleagues as well. Additionally, while I'm here at the page, I want you to know we still have laptops to check out. It's February 2022, and it's always worth asking or coming here to put one on hold. You can also, at the early part of the semester, see if we have textbooks, check for it here, put them on hold, books, printing, and other technology. Just make sure you understand the by appointment part, and we'll call you when things are ready. So, let's get right into something you know a lot about and not a lot about at the same time, because Google is amazingly massive. Back in the day, don't you hate that? But it was probably a few weeks ago. Understand this right now. Like your phone, like when it downloads new software when you're asleep at night, and then you wake up and your screen is all different and things don't work the way they used to. Google's almost like that every day as well. So some of the things that were sometimes visible, they come and go and aren't always there for you to see. And those are things like Google Images used to be kind of up here, Google Advanced, and Google Scholar. Right now, even if you click on Google Search, you stay on this page. I'm not going to take a chance with these, but boy, they look fun. Anyway, I'm going to go in with a big search, misinformation in social media. As you'll see, I don't have any ads up front, but let's see if we take this out, how things change. Sometimes the more complicated your search, the less likely you are to see ads. Here, we're not going to see a lot. We're going to see they formatted this into a particular page. The first thing that's up has some definitions. We have Wikipedia as almost always near the top. Top stories, this varies. Sometimes these are quite excellent things like New Scientist. And you'll go into your basic group of results. We'll see videos. Sometimes you'll see Quora and other places. You know, beware. I don't know why it's not showing up today. The truth is they might have changed it. That particular area was a place where random people everywhere, answered questions. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. So, but right now, it looks like it's full of good information under information. But is this complete? Do you know that Pew Research found out that most people don't get past this first page? So imagine you're sitting there in a class of 30 people and all of you only use this page. You haven't used everything possible. You haven't looked at cross-disciplinary ideas. You haven't looked at ideas that were for, against, around, different ideas, points of view. The first page of Google is certainly interesting, but it's not everything. So make sure when you do your work, starting out with a slightly complicated but not overly complicated search often gets you past to the search results alone. Now this does go to Google Scholar. I don't want you to use it while you're here. I have set you up a link and I'm going to show it to you. It's on the library page under databases A to Z. And this link will take you to where you can see what's available to you in full text from Google Scholar. Certainly in the past you thought it had no value to you. Now you'll see it is amazingly valuable. So here are misinformation in social media. We have this is everything, the video, the news, the images, the shopping, the whole deal. We didn't get a lot of ads on this one, but they do show up in different places. I know you've seen them. I want you to make sure you see this. Now what is here changes per screen, also changes per whatever update is happening. Some days it's more useful and some days it's less useful. As somebody who is going to be using Google frequently, even for shopping, you should know that this is here. Now let's look at any time. We could look for things just in the past month on information and social media. We'll see that changes up our pieces a little bit. So sometimes eluding that first page that everyone's pretty much getting the same of, you can change the times. You can also change up the search results. This is using the special soup that is a Google algorithm, but sometimes it doesn't really work for you and you really want them to use the words you have, you can use this. You can clear this to start from the beginning. I'm going to put it back to anytime. Here I'm going to go to news. While news does appear here as it's happening, it's been my experience, oftentimes things will start showing up at the news feeds on Twitter before they do here. But this is a great place to come to check that information. So you might see the Twitter news, but hey, is this real? Did they really identify the shooter? Let's go and look at what it really is. And usually this will have people that are more cautious, fact-checking before they put the information out. They're usually connected to a news organization that has ethics and editors. And those things are really important because they do not exist on Twitter. So this would be the place you go. Now, suppose that you go to one of these and for some reason, and maybe it's the New York Times, Washington Post, it's like you've seen your 5 different things you're able to see this month. Well, go to the library's website. I want you to go to Databases A to Z and go to Newsbank. Newsbank, a lot of these are. We have the New York Times right here. We have Newsbank right here. It has a number of full text things. It's available to you 24/7. And I also believe I have separated out the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post by name. So even though it says you only have 5, in the library world, we've paid your subscription and you have all-time access. So make sure you use that. And if that doesn't make sense, on every library page is Ask a Librarian. You can ask us to find a full-text copy for you. That's what we do. We break down the paywall. All right? That's our part in your life. One of our many parts, but that's the fun one. So let's go now to images. You use this all the time. You feel good about it. I'm about to possibly make some of you sad. Most of this is copyrighted. You really shouldn't be using it. In some cases, someone may come after you for using it. So let's be a little bit more careful. Here, when we do the toolbar, we do have some different sizes, color, type. That means line, join, clip art, GIFs, things of that nature. Time, again, we've seen this year, past year, etc. But this part is really important. Usage rights. The default is all, which means that you get commercial licenses, trademarks, and things that could be kind of shaky for you to use and put out there and reuse. If you search only for things that are in Creative Commons, you will find things that are free for you to use with no attribution, free to use with attribution, free to use and rework and change with and without attribution, so forth and so on. It's ways for you to use other people's work ethically. So make sure when you know you're putting work out there into the world that you're able to use the work of others ethically and correctly. So, and another option, especially if you're looking for images, would be Unsplash.com. They have beautiful, high quality images and very enjoyable, by the way. It's, if you want to add your own images for free, for fun, it's a great network, and you can promote the area, your work, and things of that nature. Unsplash.com. But meantime, look into your images beyond just the one click. So we're not worried about shopping. I'm almost sure you do quite well, and most of you will probably be familiar with maps, books, some of you flights, and eventually we'll all understand more about finance, right? So make sure you use this toolbar on the different sections. It's going to mean different things. I just realized I skipped over videos, and this is an important one as well. The toolbar is different. You know how sometimes when you're doing a presentation and I just want something very, very short, or I don't have time to learn how to use 365. I just need to do a hanging indent. Look what this has. 4 minutes, under 4 minutes. Also anytime. Oh, it'd be good if it was the past year. The quality, not so much. All videos, if you need closed captions specifically, any source. Most of you probably use YouTube. There are more places that have video than YouTube. And some of them are vetted. Suppose you're getting something on a .edu site, it's a video. Someone's actually looked at it and somewhat vetted it. You should always, always evaluate your videos. But if you start out in a better place like ABC News, people that have curators, editors, and ethics, like a certain ethical thing about the things we produce and what it means in a mission, you're really ahead of the game. Look here, you'd be working with MIT. Wouldn't you rather get something that's 3 minutes on hanging indents from MIT than YouTube? Think about it. It's an option you have. So I think this makes sense to you. If you've never looked at the thing underneath the search box, it is a place of wondrousness. Now, two of the biggest Google things that I enjoy using are hidden. I don't know why. They show up in different places. They come and go. But we want the Google Advanced Search. So we're going to look for it here. You did see one of our videos, there was a how to use it, but in a way, it's self-explanatory. As a librarian, or like if you're in a class and trying to learn things about how to evaluate things, one of the best things you could do is do a good search from the beginning, and you kind of know what you're getting into. Now this has to do with search strategy you could actually use in the library's databases. So if I put in misinformation here, it says type the important words. If I have a phrase, it says put them in quotes. I'm going to put social media, and you see it's in quotes, so it searches together as one word. And I could type or. Suppose you're doing marketing, branding, or advertising, which are sometimes alike. You could put them all the synonyms on this one line. They're somewhat alike, and instead of searching them all individually, you'd like to search them at one time. You connect them with a Boolean logic operator, or, in capital O-R. So here I'm going to put Facebook because it's not the same, or Twitter. And I'm going to put none of these words. I don't want Snapchat. Do you see how that works? Get rid of these. I usually use negative Pinterest. I hate it when Pinterest comes up in my search because it's not a person's content, it's content from everywhere. Something like the Google image search. It's very complicated and you have to work with it a little bit. You can also select your languages. The region is primarily countrywide. I don't have a PNW type search here. Last update, if you want something that's really recent, choose something really recent. Site or domain. Remember how I was talking about the .com commercial? Google set up to really do well with that. So like Pew Research said, a lot of people don't get past that front page. So let's get up to better front pages, better search results right up front to elude that. The .com is commercial. At some point, you might want to pay. You'll hit that paywall. Something may happen. And when you're looking to evaluate your sources, the purpose may be to sell. And that's going to kind of put a big bias in it when you're doing genuine, honest research. So how do we elude that? Somewhat in this way. .org is organizations, .edu is education, and .gov is government. So let's start looking for organizations that may cover these topics. Also, terms appearing anywhere in the page, you can do some different things. It's in the title of the page, and this is like super narrowed down. But when you've seen something, you kind of know what it looks like, or you're getting a bazillion results, this narrowing down of it can be really very helpful. Now, the library's databases have all these things as well. There's a drop box where you can search in the title. You can always add .org. You can also use the Boolean operators. When you put something in quotes, it searches a phrase. We don't use a negative Snapchat. We would use NOT, capitalized Snapchat. But the search strategy is the same, and I bet you didn't even know it was here. Another thing that this can do here before I go away, well, I'm just searching for .orgs. Suppose you're looking for something inside something, but you don't want to use their search or whatever reason. Our library website or even the college website, maybe you need something. So if you put in bigbend.edu here and put in your search words, it would find those inside of another website. Do you see how that works? So this has a lot of utility. This is a total powerhouse. This gets you out in front of the entire search game, and you not only can use Google better, you're going to be using the databases also with greater ease. See how this looks when you, it's kind of made that happen. See how this looks when it puts it together? After a time, you'll kind of start doing that. If you just want to look in the site, it's site : and the site you're searching. Sometimes I just cite the APA blog, frankly, and that's in there as well. Snapchat, negative, means I'm getting rid of it. Social media means it searches as a phrase. And I went to Google Scholar Advanced. I did not have to remember any of that. So you'll see now our search results does have one ad, and it's from Facebook saying they're trying to do better. And then we have .orgs. Wikipedia is a .org, so it's definitely going to come up. This is going to be a science.org. It's talking about corrections in Facebook news feeds, climate change denial on YouTube, COVID-19 information, informed crowds from all these different places. Now, when you go there, a .org doesn't mean they're right or they're wonderful or credible, you still need to go to that about and the mission statement and find out what they are and what they do. If you're nursing, you'll recognize this immediately and be able to feel like you can trust it. Now, you can see this is even though this is long, it's still a very vague search. I'm not talking about what kind of misinformation I'm looking for, political, health, local, whatever type of thing. But as you can see, it's a pretty good start, and we have a fresh new page. Now, you could do this on the advanced page, but we have it set up here. Let's try education. Now it's looking inside of different places. Education, higher education, they have all these hidden places and articles. Sometimes they post different kinds of articles, scholarly articles, there's white papers, there's presentations, posters, there's all sorts of things. And this is how you find sort of a hidden wealth of really credible high-level things. Like this is inside of Harvard, and it's looking at this case study about WhatsApp. You absolutely did not see that in the other searches. Do you see what I mean? This is exciting. Here there's something about Delta College. It looks like they've built a misinformation page, which tells me probably I should too. But those will probably give you links to other places and show you how to evaluate. This is going to give you other search words, so you can already see that this is already a pretty interesting page. You haven't seen these sources before, so now let's throw in the .gov. And that's right, when I do my research, I actually do it this way, .gov, .edu, .org, and the larger search, Google Advanced and Google Scholar, because these are all powerful research tools. Now, we see the same ad from Facebook letting us know it's going to be all right. This happens to take us into PubMed. I know this is PubMed, and you will too now that you see this. And that is a government site that curates the best possible as one can. So it's not only edited and peer-reviewed, it's curated through another filter. So these are usually the health and medical articles that are higher in evidence. And oftentimes, while the library's databases don't always move forward with you through your life, if you go into health, you will see PubMed again, probably frequently during the week. This is from a government department, this is a state department, and sometimes you'll see things like Washington, Health New York, so you'll see some things from different states and other places. In fact, if you put in the state like Washington or Oregon or something like that, that would be helpful. And you're like, but Washington, I know. Washington's one of the hardest things in the world to do. Do you know what you could do? Negative DC, negative D period, C period, etc. That's right, you can get rid of Washington, D.C. in your Google search. Did you know that? That's what you find in the Google Advanced Search. And when things change, they'll kind of show up there, and you as a person who usually buys shoes on Google may not know it's available to you. And now that you know this, you can actually shop better as well. Just to give you that inside word. So we covered basic Google, the toolbox, the things that appear underneath, and when we went to Google Advanced, we saw wonderful ways to build search strategy and how to manage monstrous databases in all sorts of different ways. Now we're going to look at Google Advanced. You'll see, Google Scholar, you see some of the articles were coming up as we're going. I don't want you to use those. Let's get back to Databases A to Z. So if your library's webpage, go to Databases A to Z, and this was what I've done. I've set you up Google Scholar. I also put Google Advanced here because it's easier for me to find. But Google Scholar, you're like, it doesn't matter. It never has what I need, and it does not have full text. Yes, that was the old days. Now, you can set it up and link it to your library's holdings. So I'd say 85% of the time it will resolve correctly and find you full text that we have. And otherwise you would get a paywall, they want $100, $40, and you won't be able to get to it. If you go this way to begin with, it's kind of like a search over our 100 databases. If you forget everything I said today, still go here. And just look at this first. It's under 3 minutes, unlike this, and you'll be able to remember it quite rapidly. So what we're looking for is Big Ben CC full text. All right, so here we are. We're going to insert information in social media. The nice thing about this, it doesn't have the drop-down box here, but hey, I want things since 2021. You could sort by relevance or date the relevance. Let's see what it looks like. I don't know, set up that way already. It's the special sauce that we don't see. And you can get rid of things like citations, because sometimes it'll search for these words inside a list of citations. So let's just get rid of that. And if this is something you're working on, you can create an alert and just have these sent to your email every day or whatever or top results or whatever. And you'll be able to have your research done while you sleep. Isn't that a nice thing? I've used it quite frequently and also forgot to turn it off and had to get rid of them. But it's there. And when you're working on a large project, I mean, imagine this. If you were super together and you saw at the end of the quarter you had to write about this topic, you could already have it doing the research for you, and then you could just go through it. I know. I too would like to be that person. But here we go. All right. This is very important. If you hit this, most of the time you're going to hit a paywall. Over here on the right-hand side are things that you could mostly get to for free. And you'll see all sorts of opportunities. And usually these are very useful. I'm going to take you to one that fails and one that doesn't fail to show you how to deal with failure on that when it doesn't connect. So here I'll see COVID-related misinformation on social media, and I'm just going to do this. If you forget this, there's several places you can fix it. So I'm going to go to Big Bend Community College full text. It's going to take us through our library catalog so it can authenticate us. And I'm probably already signed in. If you see a big list like this, these are different providers. So if something fails in Gale, it probably won't fail in Research Library or ProQuest or something like that. Gale, ProQuest, those are things like Netflix or Amazon Prime. They're different publishers, and sometimes they have an overlap and have the same thing. So let's go to Research Library. That's one of the best ones to look at. The reason I say best is because when it resolves, it's going to usually have a PDF. That's right, not just HTML. It's going to have, hey, this is the Netflix of the databases, by the way. If it says, you read this, oh, you may also enjoy these articles here. Hey, while you're here, you can also look at these search terms and build a search in a different way. That's right. See how that is wonderful. And I think maybe it's on the front page. There's also an Ask a Librarian thing to ask you if you need help. So full text, PDF, and the reason you want PDF is you're working on scholarly articles and you need to find the method sections. This is going to light it up pretty much immediately. So you see how easy that was? Now, Google Scholar is not a dead zone. It's where you can get a lot of work done, which I think is fantastic. Let's see. Now I have to go back. There's just no easy way back to it. You might have a drop-down box with where you've been, but so here we are. And I said that one was easy. Let's see if this is a hard one. And I'm just going to take this with me. And there's a reason, because sometimes it has a hard time resolving. Like it found it, but it couldn't find it in the database. So here I'm going to go with EBSCO. EBSCO and ProQuest are two of our bigger databases. They usually do resolve pretty close, and they usually do have the PDF. This came right to it. We have a PDF. HTML, that's just going to be the text, but the PDF usually has images, tables, and all that. And while you're here, if it's a good search, you can keep searching in this piece, and you have full text. So I think I've covered everything for you, and I want you to know, whatever you're working on, we do have these like Lost, Need a Librarian. Here, this is on every page, but my name is Rhonda Kitchens, and we do have a list on every single page on the bottom of emails, phone numbers, and ways to contact us. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll be able to keep up with things that are going on. And I just want to mention that we usually do have laptops available and other types of technology. Sometimes you don't need them at the front of the quarter. Sometimes your computer fails in the middle, and we are here with some backups. You can also get some printing technology and other things by appointment. Make sure to use this particular thing. And I think that covers everything, and this is Google Next Level, and I hope you see how it really was wonderful, next level, and even now you could buy shoes better than you've ever bought shoes before, right? My name is Rhonda Kitchens. I'm your librarian. Drop by the library and see me sometime. And enjoy Google Next Level tips.